Okay, what's up investors? It's the Russian dude. Serious live stream today, because obviously the events that are happening right now is just insane. It's the black part of the history of being Russian. I'm basically kind of speechless, if you wanna call it like this. I was just making my typical weekday videos that was planning to post on Friday and then on Monday, just regular YouTuber routine. When I just at 2 a.m. started receiving all this news and everything about the invasion of Russia into Ukraine, and obviously there's not a single way in the universe I would gonna be supporting this decision. It's just insane. So, on behalf of all Russians, I want to apologize. Basically the place where all the Russians came from originally. Ukraine is the original birthplace of all the Slavic nation, all the Kievskaya Rus. This is where the culture of Slavic people came from. This is where it all started. I'm just repeating myself as always because obviously nothing of this is planned, but this is what's going on. On behalf of all Russians, once again, I'm apologizing. There was no way that any of us thought that this was actually gonna happen, because in the past all these precautions or all these things that were happening, none of us believed that we'll actually reach this point. And as a result, it was very shocking what happened, obviously. Just let me put myself on the screen right now really quick. So long story short, I will be in this live stream, I will be just going through the news. I have my iPad here in front of me, I'll be live streaming. I'll be opening all these most recent videos, photos that I'll be receiving. Like basically I have this, like, you know, this Telegram basically is it's like Twitter, if you wanna call it like this, combination of Twitter and maybe Instagram in some ways. So no, it's mainly Twitter, I would say. So all the most urgent news that I'll be getting will be basically appearing every single minute. I'll be receiving something, I'll be sharing with you. All this Telegram will be obviously in Russian, because the live stream is the reaction of a Russian person towards these things that are happening. So, since I'm absolutely not supporting the decision of the Russian government, there is no reason for me to translate anything wrong for you, so I'll be translating as is. Just so you see what actual regular Russian people think about what's going on, as well as what the international community thinks about what majority of people think about this. So, and then we'll be just seeing this news, talking about this and seeing what we can do about this. Okay, without further ado, it was already way too long. Let's start with this one. So let me see no, I need to use another one or something. I need to connect my headphones, I guess, if they're not connected yet. It shows they are, but I don't hear anything. Maybe it's no sound here, but okay, whatever. So in Moscow there was a protest, obviously, against the war protests, and as you can see here, long story short, what's happening, the police is preventing any future protests of actual Russian people, regular Russian people, just like me, who went outside on the street to protest against the war, and the police were basically shutting them down, so saying that I have no idea why my sound is not working. Let me know if you can hear anything, because it's my first time doing the live stream with the iPad, so let me know if it's even working, the sound or something. Okay, I hear it from here. Okay, so better with this, just give me a couple of seconds. Okay, Okay, I can hear now everything. Okay, let's go. Let's continue. I will cut this at the beginning of the live stream or something. I guess it's very unprofessional of me. I'm apologizing for this. So, once again, this is just Ukraine, as you can see. These are this is Russia. This is Moscow. As you can see, regular people just go on the streets. They're protesting against the war. But once again, like showed previously, the police was taking this down, shutting them down, not letting them to express their opinion. Okay, so Britain, lots of European countries, America, obviously, everyone is doing all the sanctions against Russia. One of the biggest ones that, and by the way, just to show you how bad is this. So this is our equivalent, if you want to call it, of the S&P 500. This is the equivalent of the S&P 500. As you can see, it went down by almost like 40% in one single day, which is insane decline. This is the biggest decline in the history. And this is not just an individual stock. This is the total stock market, if you want to call it like this, index, the S&P 500 equivalent in Russia. So another thing that happened is that Russians, they took under control the Chernobyl power plant, basically Chernobyl area, which I have no idea why would they need it. My only guess, my only assumption, because at this very moment, nothing extraordinary, let's say, so nothing what we cannot expect anymore. There are no guarantees that this will not happen. So probably, maybe they will be using this as a bargaining chip or card, like against, like for example, whenever something bad started, even worse started to happen, maybe Russians will be threatening that they can explode Chernobyl power plant station, releasing radiation. Like, it sounds crazy, but in this world it's impossible not to consider that might not happen. So another thing here, that the VTB, one of the biggest banks in Russia, shares went down by 52% in one single day. Obviously, this is just insane decline. Britain will disallow Russian companies to trade in dollars and pounds, and Britain will be trying to push Russia out of the world economy, according to Boris Johnson, obviously. I'm once again just translating everything. Okay, so MeTuber says, hi, what is the general sense in the country? What do people expect? If you're talking about Russia, obviously regular people, real people, just anyone not from the government does not support what's going on. Every single person that has common sense thinks that this is wild, that this is crazy, this is unheard of. This is not what's supposed to happen. There are protests in Moscow right now, all across Russia, protests against... I'm apologizing for stupid fire alarm now. So, long story short, regular people all across Russia, they're protesting against this war. But the police, they're just... Well, even police, I'm sure that in the back of police minds, in the back of the minds of regular police people... Okay, just let it speak. This is insane. I just tried to start the live stream, and the only time they select to do the live test, like fire... Just screw your fire test, please. Okay, so and the police... So there are protests all across the Russia against the war, once again, against the war. But the police, which once again, I'm almost certain most of people who work in the police in Russia, they are supporting Russian people in the back of their head, in the back of their mind. They're supporting Ukraine. They're against what's going on. But they're just police. They cannot go against their orders. So unfortunately, this is what they have to do. So regular people, once again, they do not support in any way what's going on right now in Ukraine. And obviously, we do not want to continue this, the escalation of this. We want this to be over as soon as possible. So once again, I'll be just translating right now. Everything that I'm going to be seeing right here is this Russian source of information, but they just bringing all the information all across the world. So this does not mean that all this information that's on my screen right now, it just comes from the Russian government, which makes Russia seem like a good country or anything like this. No. This is from the news all across the world. But the reason I selected this It's because they just, as you can see on the left, have 672 news, and every single 5-10 seconds there is something new coming up. So this is one of the most urgent source of information I was able to find, and I'll be just translating it for you as is. I'm personally, once again, not supporting anything that's going on in Ukraine, so there's no reason for me to do bad translation. Everything that I'll be saying will be accurate as is, as whatever I'm seeing on the screen right now. So Boris Johnson also acknowledges that Britain, UK will be able to give the asylum for the Ukrainian government right here. So this is Chernobyl, by the way. This is what I've been telling you, that the Russian military equipment, Russian tanks, Russian artillery, so they're in the territory of Chernobyl for whatever reason they want to do it. So once again, this is the protests. This is St. Petersburg. This is protests against the war. As you can see, regular people, they went on the street protesting against, and there is the police. This riot, protests, they are not, let's say so, pre-planned or sanctioned or anything like this, because usually when there are protests in Russia, usually what happens is the police just immediately shuts it down by basically taking all these people to the prison, like taking away the leaders and all this kind of stuff. But as you can see right here, the police does not intervene. So this is once again confirming my thought that most likely in the back of the minds, police still understands that something crazy is going on in the heads of the Russian government. So this girl in Moscow, 22-year-old, decided to throw Molotov in the police. I don't think this went unannounced, unnoticed, so. Okay, so. Let me see if I can put it like this so you can see just the news that I want to be translating. Biden offers to interrupt the internet connection in Russia, obviously, to cancel the electricity to disrupt the electricity, to disrupt the railroads, so that Russian military cannot get reinforcements, basically. So there are the sanctions. Okay, so Canada is doing sanctions, obviously, against Russia. So this is Kharkov. This is one of the subway stations in Ukraine. In Kharkov, people, obviously, the first thing they decided to protect themselves is to go underground, because Soviet ideology was that underground, besides serving as a subway stations, it also needs to be as the potential place where you can hide from artillery strikes, from the bombing, from all this kind of stuff. And obviously the first place people went to hide was the subway stations, as you can see right here. This is Ukraine once again. So these are some of the Russian stocks, obviously. So Sberbank, Gazprom, Lukoil, Rosneft, Yandex, Nornickel, Severstal, Alrosa. All the companies, all the publicly traded companies in Russia are down significantly. 5, 6, 7, 10 years of progress erased in one single day. And this is pretty much justified. So Biden announces sanctions against Russia. Russia alone is responsible for the death and destruction this attack will bring. And the United States and its allies and partners will respond in a united and decisive way, obviously. So let's see what else we can show on the screen right now. New sanctions, obviously. So this was the most recent Biden announcement to the press. Okay, so this is Kiev. This is Kiev right now. You can hear the explosion in the background. And yes, those people who just joined, this is what I'll be doing basically. I'll try to get these videos, photos. So, and I will just be watching them because these are the photos, videos. This is one of the first places on the entire internet where these photos and videos get uploaded. So you'll be able to see them as soon as they arrive. Okay, so for now, Russia will not be and they will not be removed from SWIFT system, so which basically means all these transactions will be happening as for now, but this is just the beginning. So Biden says that the main goal of Putin is to restore Soviet Union. Okay. Sanctions, obviously. Okay, so this Ukrainian city, Melitopol, and whenever people try to escape from this Ukrainian city, there is Russian forces on the border turning everyone around and saying, no, basically you cannot leave it. You need to stay inside the city. So another subway station that I was saying in Kiev, the subway station Dragozhichi, where once again people just hide, using this as a bomb shelter, basically, because Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, is also under attack right now. It has been for the last day. So these are just regular Ukrainian peoples just trying to find a shelter underground, which basically shows you that everything that's going on right now is obviously it's real, it's not fake news or anything like this. Okay, let's see. Next one. Just more sanctions. Biden saying that there is not a single plan for him to do the dialogue with Putin. That's it. Time for dialogues is over. Time for actions. Sanctions that will be placed upon Russia will be basically upon $1.4 trillion of assets, which are mainly obviously bank-related assets, money, and obviously all the transactions that people do. Okay. Biden once again says that they will restrict Russia for using every single currency: pounds, euros, dollars, yens. Sanctions against 4 major banks, including VTB, Tinkoff, Sberbank, and I'm not sure the fourth one. Sanctions. And at this point, Biden said that they will not deploy troops in Ukraine, but if it is necessary, they will protect the NATO members. There will not be war in Ukraine, according to Biden, but he will send troops to Germany. Okay. Okay, so obviously there was absolute cancellation of all diplomatic relations between Russia and Ukraine. Okay, so let's see what else we can find here. So far it's more or less the same. Most of this news that I'm getting is all about the sanctions. All about the sanctions, mainly about the banks so far. And okay, so maybe okay, Kharkov. You can hear the explosions and the gunshots in the background. You can hear the jets flying over Ukraine's capital, Kiev, and people just being in the bomb shelters. Oh, these are Chechnya. So Chechnya, basically, this is one of the regions in Russia with the Kadyrov as the president. So Chechnya, Russia is always never-ending boss allies, and it looks like we can already see that Chechnya is sending troops as well, unfortunately. Not sure if it's obviously real, confirmed, not confirmed, but according to this, these are the troops somewhere in the forest, near to Ukraine, near to Kiev. Okay, so this is Kharkov. Can hear all the explosions, never-ending explosions, just complete devastation, destruction of all the military objects. So according to Russia, basically why this whole thing happened? So according to Russia, I'm not gonna right now take Russian side, obviously. So I'm just saying the facts, whatever I hear from Russian media, because the reason why you connected to this live stream is to hear another side of the story. And I'm gonna give you another side of the story with just as is, without me commenting or approving or anything like this of any actions that Russian government is taking. So long story short, there is this Lugansk, Donetsk. These are two regions, if you want to call them like this, next to Russia, on eastern part of Ukraine, which were fighting for so long to be independent from Ukraine. Let's say so. And obviously Russia was trying to help them because they once again want to take as much part of Ukraine as possible, looks like, or whatever other reason. I have no idea what's happening in their minds. But long story short, Russians were saying that Ukrainian military was killing people in Lugansk, Donetsk, bombing them, and that's why Russia had to intervene. That's why Russia had to send troops to Lugansk and Donetsk to help those regions, especially because Russia recognized Lugansk, Donetsk a couple of days ago as independent republics. So technically, it's our friends, we need to help them, long story short. And because Ukrainian military was not stopping any artillery against any attacks against Lugansk, Donetsk, this was an excuse for Russian government to invade Ukraine. Once again, these are just whatever we are hearing on Russian media, Russian news, Russian newspapers. I'm just giving you straight as is, without giving my comments or anything like this. I'm just giving you as is. And so because of this, there was an excuse for Russia to invade Ukraine, to start bombing, and Russia is saying that they will only be destroying military objects, such as airports, submarines, aircrafts, military bases, like all these antennas, radios, everything basically military related. This was the excuse, and this was the reason why Russia invaded Ukraine. So far, according once again to Russian media, the military operation is succeeding in just killing, destroying military objects. But obviously it is almost quite next to impossible to destroy a military object without having any casualties, especially from the army, and in most cases from the regular people as well. So once again, I don't think YouTube allows to show bloody details, but I've seen that there are civilians killed, basically. And so basically, long story short, that's what's happening right now. Obviously, it doesn't feel like it's true. There's no way you believe in this if you just once again have at least a little bit of common sense. Like, why would Ukraine bomb its own territory, kill its own people? because the only country in the world which immediately acknowledged, recognized Lugansk, Donetsk as independent republics were Russia, which basically means that in Ukrainian view, in Ukrainian eyes, these are still Ukrainian territories. So why would they destroy their own territory? Doesn't make sense. But let's see now. So obviously this is the flights, and obviously not a single flight happens on the territory, over the territory of Ukraine. Every single plane wants to avoid it for obvious reasons. You don't want to be hit accidentally or on purpose, just to be another reason for provoking Russians or Ukrainians or USA, whoever is in the part of this conflict. So these are the planes. Obviously not a single one flies over the Ukraine. Belarus, Lukashenko, another crazy story, supporting Russia. Okay, whatever. So Italy saying that they absolutely do not agree with the Russian decision to invade Ukraine. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, answering to show the force to Russian soldiers, obviously. Okay, so obviously there are sirens happening right now. Literally, imagine one of the most horror things you can hear being outside is the military siren, that you're under attack, basically. Just imagine, this is Kiev. So not just Kiev, it's happening all across entire Ukrainian country. But just imagine, wherever you are, Russia, Ukraine, USA, Canada, Europe, anywhere you are, just imagine that you hear military siren, which basically means that there are enemy aircrafts coming, will be dropping bombs in the nearest future right now. You don't know when it's gonna happen, where it's gonna happen, you don't know where to find the shelter or anything like this. Obviously this creates insane panic. So Gijo Debuta, is the Soviet Union coming back? I don't think so. No one except Russian government likes the idea of being back in the Soviet Union. I think this is just, I have no idea. The regular people. I know that the Russian government never asks the opinion of regular people. Every single time there are elections, or every single time there are actions taken by Russian government, the Russian population is never asked if you wanna say yes to this, if you wanna say no to this. They just do it. But I don't think that this will happen. I don't think regular people, our generation, our parents' generation, future generations, none of them want to live back in the Soviet Union, so I don't think this is going to be happening. So, first UK British soldiers will arrive in Estonia on February 25th, according to this. The next one. This is commandment point next to Kiev is on fire after bombing, obviously. Sanctions, more sanctions. So hopefully at this very moment we are not in the middle of the Second World War, when it was horrible, when there was genocide, concentration camps. Right now, war, I think, hopefully, very, very much hope so that current war will be more according to the rules, if you want to call it like this. Of course, there are no rules in war, but if it can be that way, it will be at least something. So there will be no random killings, no concentration camps, no genocide, nothing like this. No nuclear warheads, no biological weapon. I hope it's not gonna reach that point. I really hope so much. Hopefully current people, even Putin himself, knows the bad consequences of the Second World War. I really hope he doesn't want to make them happen again. Which basically means I hope it will not escalate any more than it is right now. Do not know how to comment. It's my very first time commenting on things, so sorry if my speech is slurred, if I cannot speak properly, but it is what it is. So I'm just going once again here to Russian media, but this Russian media, this is Telegram. So it's not that every single news that we see right here needs to get the seal of approval from Russian government. No. These are the news releases, photos, pictures that just regular people can send, and they will be most likely published here. So there is no way that these news are fake news or anything like this, or pro-Russian news. These are just news as is. And I'm just going to be showing them to you, translating to you, showing you some photos, videos, and all this kind of stuff. So even Russian famous singers, actors, they also starting to be against this, because you know, in Russia, it is very important, if you want to be someone famous, if you want to be a businessman, that you have to show the support of the Russian government, at least publicly. Like, if you are against the Russian government and you want to do business, it's gonna be almost impossible. It's gonna be impossible, let's say so. So in the past, all these actors, musicians, they were maybe not supporting Putin or the government, but at least maybe they were staying like neutral, so they're not saying nothing, yes or no. Some people were showing some small signs of support. But right now, even as you can see, you don't know the guy, but this is basically one of the biggest singers. So even he is saying that he is against whatever is happening right now. Okay, so this is once again military equipment that's going towards the Ukraine border. Russian military equipment, obviously. This is the president of Belarus, Lukashenko. He is also saying that in the nearest future he will recognize the Lugansk and Donetsk as independent republics. For the first time, this news I'm translating as is. For the first time since February 2015, Kiev used artillery. So these are like rockets and bombs, basically missiles. Lukashenko that Belarus will take action, will join Russia as soon as possible, as soon as necessary. Whatever he's saying at this point. So, okay, so this is Donbass. So these are journalists. They were driving across Donbass. This is where they heard the shooting, the bombing, and they basically did a U-turn and tried to go as far as possible from this place. Okay, so Lugansk, Donetsk, they started counterattack against Ukrainian police. I guess that's what it means. So some report of destruction of the military equipment. Zelensky saying that enemy is suffering lots of consequences, lots of people killed already. Just going through the news here. Excuse me if there is some awkward silence when I'm not saying anything. I'm not Meet-Kevin, I'm not professional streamer yet. I'll be just, whenever I see something worth commenting, I'll be putting this on the screen, saying whatever I think about this. Okay, so Biden, sanctions against the banks as always. Okay, Odessa. So, just factory, warehouses in Odessa destroyed by artillery. Okay, so all the like points of cross, whatever you call it. I don't know. I just forget all the English at this very moment, unfortunately. But all the places where you can cross the border between Belarus and Ukraine are closed at the very moment. Okay, so once again, European Union unlikely to cut Russia off SWIFT for now, but it can still happen in the future. So the reason why Russia is still not cut from SWIFT is because, yes, this will have very bad consequences for Russia itself, but still because Russia is still part of the world economy, so cutting off Russia from SWIFT will also damage the rest of the world, not just Russia. For this reason, they're not cutting off SWIFT for now. Okay, so because of Russian invasion at this very moment, at 5 a.m., so it's like, what, 10 hours ago, it was reported that already 40 Ukrainian military army people, soldiers, already died. And these are just the tanks, just casually driving over parked cars, like it's not even a big deal. As you can see, it's insane. Just tanks crossing over parked cars, not caring at all. Okay, so Russia against SWIFT. So many of this news will be repetitive. But once again, if there is something new, I will definitely translate it as soon as possible. Explosions in Kiev were heard. In the Kiev, once again, the capital of Ukraine. Imagine wherever you live right now, USA, imagine there are explosions in Washington. You live in Canada, imagine there is explosions in Ottawa. So it is the capital. Like whenever the capital is already being under attack, it couldn't get any more serious than that. So most of the seaports are closed in Ukraine. At the moment at 5 a.m., seaports were not damaged. So hopefully it stays like this. Okay, so this is the Russian consulate. This is the Russian consulate in Poland. So many people came here with the flags of Ukraine, obviously protesting the war, obviously. Because this is just getting out of hand. Okay, so evacuation from Donetsk is halted, according to 5 a.m. report. And this is the part of the independent republic that Russia recognized a couple of days ago. So there were people evacuating from Donetsk. At this very moment, looks like, according to 10 hours ago, the evacuation was halted. Okay, so Ukrainian military against falling. Some kittens. Second wave of missile strikes. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, he announced military mobilization across entire country, which basically means that every single man has to enroll in the army, long story short. So every man between the ages, I think, of 18 and 55 has to consider joining the army, to say the least. Okay, so the next one. Repetitive news once again. Okay, so European Parliament is considering cancelling every single visa of every single Russian. So you can see Russian people already getting drawbacks. Russian people already getting the bad results from this invasion. So just regular people who are protesting against the war in Ukraine, we are getting hit as well already. Okay, so this is the military object in Kiev. It's in Brovar, which is next to Kiev. This is supposedly the military operation, whatever it's called. I have no idea in English anymore. Okay, so Jamie Walkerdine, I have a co-worker and I'm close with who is Ukrainian, and as of this morning he has gone dark. I hope he's safe. Okay, I hope he's safe as well. I have relatives in Ukraine as well. They hear the explosions, they're safe as for now, hopefully stays the same. It's just getting crazy. So my Russian colleague is also very upset. He's talking about protesters being kidnapped. Not sure about kidnapped, but there are definitely protests going right now in Moscow, in St. Petersburg, in other cities in Russia, and the police tries to stop these protests. But once again, like I said in the beginning of this live stream, I personally think that the police also thinks in the back of their minds that this is wrong what they're doing. So let's see, maybe we'll see something bigger than just Ukrainian-Russian conflict. Maybe we'll finally see some events, something changes in the government of Russia in the nearest future. So we'll see. Okay. Belarus again, saying that they will support Russia with every means possible, but they will not start the war by themselves. So this is Kiev. No people on the streets in Kiev, almost no people on the streets in Kiev. Everyone is either at home, either in shelters, or in subway stations, which are once again also can be considered as bomb shelters. So not too many people walking on the streets in Kiev right now. Okay. The subway, Ukrainian Kiev subway. So northern western part right here of the Kiev. I mean, once again, subway is closed right now, non-operational, obviously. So Prime Minister of Netherlands saying that sanctions must be against Putin and the government, not just against Russia as a whole, as a Russian population as well. Just targeted sanctions, which is obviously what needs to happen, because once again, Russian people are not Russian government. So we will unfortunately have to tolerate the sanctions if they will be imposed against us, because we as Russian people have to take responsibility for our Russian government actions, even though no one asked us if we want to go to this war, if we don't want to go to this war. But hopefully, if there are any sanctions, there must be any sanctions. Hopefully they're gonna be against the Russian government and Putin himself. Okay, so President of Ukraine office claims that food in the grocery stores will last for the next 15-20 days. And at this very moment, there's a huge deficit of gas, the ones which you use for car, obviously, petroleum. So some gas stations in Ukraine already are out of gas, and there is like huge lines for the gas stations, which once again, already most of them, they don't even have gas anymore. Okay. So this is the air defense system, anti-aircraft defense system next to Mariupol, destroyed by artillery. So yeah, once again, I'm apologizing for not being very active and energetic reporter, if you want to call it me like this, But once again, my goal here is to try to find as many like pictures and videos like this, so you can see actual pictures and videos that are happening. So like these are videos and pictures sent by regular people. So, and in the meantime, while I cannot find them and when I'm just scrolling through text, news or pictures, I'll be just trying to translate something. But in most cases, these news are repetitive, like Belarus, 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 and 9 out of 10 is that Belarus will support Russia, Belarus will support Russia, Belarus will support Russia. So obviously I'm not going to translate every single one of them. So for this reason, the stream is going kinda slow, but hopefully there will be more videos and photos to share with you all. Okay, so again, once again, Prime Minister of Netherlands asks to get the sanctions against Putin and the government. Once again, same news that we saw a couple of minutes ago. Okay, unlike USA, China will never give weapons to any of the sides of the military conflict, which was said by the representative for international affairs of China. We'll see. You can never trust politicians at this point anymore. So Belarus, Belarus made it more, strengthened. Belarus made the border with Ukraine to be more guarded, let's say so. Okay, so again, Belarus, NATO is going to do the virtual summit about Ukraine this Friday, tomorrow. Okay, so the Kuchayevsk is under artillery strikes by Ukrainian forces. It is said by the Donetsk representatives. So this is once again Russian side of this war. Okay, so European Union does not comment right now whether they will revoke all the visas of every single Russian. So this is something what will be discussed this Thursday. Okay, Jamie, it is understandable, it's hard to energetic about a thing like this. So yeah, thank you for understanding, and once again I apologize on behalf of every single Russian for whatever is happening. It's crazy, by the way, so I was scrolling through Instagram today, so here is a story. So obviously, like, I was not expecting any single person supporting Russia today, not even among Russians. But I did find one. There was this person who was my acquaintance back in the university back in Russia. He was always a weird, strange guy, like always aggressive, all this nationalistic behavior he was showing. Like he is like the one, he was always like, Russians are the minorities in Russia itself, there's so many Caucasians, blah blah blah, this and that, and Caucasians, I mean people from Caucasus, like Armenia, Chechnya, Dagestan, not Caucasians as Americans think Caucasians, but real Caucasians. And so yes, he was the one today, he was like, oh, so many crybabies, so many political experts on Instagram, get your stuff together, stop crying about this was long time foreseen events, like Ukraine was genociding Donetsk, Lugansk for 8 years, and now you're crying because Russia is doing all these like anti-terroristic events. So he is just a douchebag, to say the least. So he is just incredibly stupid person, to say the least. Like, there is no way this is the guy who did bachelor's. This is the guy who did bachelor's in Moscow in international economic relations. Saying things like this to him shows that he is not the smartest person. Okay, MeTuber, Artyom, thank you. You keep it up. Thanks so much, Mr. Tuber. Let's continue. We have 474 more to go. So get some water, get some tea, get some coffee, get some beer, whatever you want to get. Just let's stay here for another hour or so, maybe. Let's see how it goes. Some cats, so to get our mood a little bit lightened, some meta. And by the way, while I'm scrolling, did you see that Kimball Musk, the brother of Elon Musk, is now being accused along with Elon Musk, of insider trading with Tesla. So let's see, by the way, let's see something new. So this is once again the Russian S&P 500 equivalent, went down by 38.3% in one single day. At one point, Russian S&P 500 was down as much as like 48, almost 50% if I'm not mistaken. So obviously this is insane decline in one single day. So let's see, let's keep this one, and now let's see Tesla stock. How's it going? How's it doing? Really quick. Okay, so Tesla is accused of insider trading and the share prices go up by 3%. Makes sense. Okay, so this guy right here, he is the press secretary, I think that's the name in English, of Putin. So he is basically Putin's right hand. I'm not going to translate anything of this. These are all lies. Obviously, generally speaking, what he's saying here, that the purpose of Russia is to stop terroristic attacks of Ukrainians against Lugansk, Donetsk. We need to prevent the massive war in the future. All these are lies. And as you can see, this is the reaction of Russian people right here. I cannot zoom in, but you see here as the icons, these are emojis. So as you can see that 217 poops. So people generally say that this is all wrong. Okay, I bought the Russian today after the 50% drop. No, congratulations, Jamie, but just be careful because we never know, like, if there are any sanctions. So yes, they will continue doing business inside Russia, but obviously these are the companies that also do business internationally. So most likely, 99.9% period, it will have impact on the future business of every single company. No matter what they say, no matter how much they say they're prepared for sanctions, they are not gonna be unnoticed. Okay, risky, absolutely risky, yes, be careful. High risk, high reward. Once again, President of Belarus, Lukashenko, saying that Belarus is getting ready for potential conflict once again. Again, the press secretary of Putin, the biggest liar. Okay, so some videos for you. This is Lugansk. This is Lugansk, which is technically the Independent Republic of Lugansk. So you all know that the main military action right now is happening in Lugansk, Donetsk. This is where actual soldiers shoot each other and kill each other. But the rest of Ukraine is being under artillery attack. And so this was just one of the confrontation in Lugansk that I was just showing right now. Mr. Araya, I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for asking. I'm in Canada right now. I was planning my trip back to Russia before all this happened, like somewhere in May. Now it's gonna be very difficult to go back to Russia, see my friends and relatives, but hopefully things will get better in 2 months. Okay. Okay. Fraction of military equipment. Okay, so these are choppers. Russian choppers flying across Russia. Going to the airport, the guy saying, commenting, around 30 helicopters going in the direction of the airport to bomb it. Okay, so yeah, and this is the next news after this. This is the Russian helicopters attacking the airport 1 hour ago, like at 6 AM approximately Eastern Standard Time. And these 3 choppers were destroyed by Ukrainian anti-aircraft defense system. Okay, so now China and China and Russia are talking on the phone with each other. Okay, so Turkey is supporting Ukraine, obviously. France obviously supporting Ukraine. So these are the potential invasion Okay, okay, so these are the potential invasion trajectories where Russian forces were coming from. Obviously, most of this were from eastern part of Ukraine. All these news are still since 6 a.m., since like 9 hours ago, so this information is already not that much accurate, but still. Okay. This is Ukrainian government destroying some documents, basically saying whatever documents they are destroying, just burning some paperwork, whatever it means. We will never know what this paperwork had. It's already burned to ashes. Okay, so Russian military entering Kiev as of 6 a.m. this morning. Tesla news, there is always Tesla. Virgin Galactic, Tesla once again, some reports, let's scroll through it. Okay, so some Polish military is already on standby, getting ready to engage as soon as necessary. Okay, so Turkish President Erdogan asking Russia and Ukraine to solve the problems by speaking and not by military actions. Okay, so Russia closed the door for political debates with Ukraine. This is Sergei Lavrov, this is the Minister of International Affairs of Russia, the guy who went to the same university as me, by the way. Okay, so, and this is journalist hiding from the artillery strikes, it's showing. This is Donetsk, once again. You can hear all the explosions, gunshots in the background. Some reports. Okay, so military machines, tanks entering the Ukraine. No identification, but obviously it's a Russian. What else would it be? Okay, NATO attempts to still talk with Russia, looks like. Okay, Apple, some news about Apple. Okay. Okay, so some Ukrainian forces showing this white flag that you show whenever you give up, basically. So some Ukrainian forces giving up, looks like. Seizing the fire, hopefully. All good with them now. Oh, and yes, Putin did the earlier today, at this night, Putin did this. I don't know, he spoke to the nation, let's say, and he said, if this is the craziest things I heard in a while. So he said basically one of his key phrases, sentences, and basically it was 20-minute monologue to the Russian people. I obviously didn't hear all of it because it's all lies, but the most impactful, the most influential phrase that he said, that if there's anyone who will intervene with Russia, if there's anyone who will stop Russia from doing whatever they're doing right now, there will be significant consequences which no one ever experienced before. So you can only guess what this means. I guess he was threatening using nuclear weapons, biological weapons, so all these kind of things. So I'm just speechless. Okay, so Russia attacked Ukraine with more than 30 artillery strikes. Already at 7 a.m. there were more than 30 artillery strikes across Ukraine. And this was once again like 8 hours ago. Right now it's way more, obviously. Some reports. These reports again. Okay, so Ukraine, and this is the Ukraine plane was shut down. 5 people died of the plane, on the plane. So here is the Ukrainian emblem, whatever you call it. It's not the flag, I guess. I don't remember how it's called, but insignia, whatever you call it, was shot down. Okay, so Ukrainian reporter said that Putin is like Hitler, which is to say the least. Okay, so I guess with my comments, what I'm doing right now, let's brighten it up a little bit. With the comments I'm making right now, I think if someone from the Russian government is watching me, it will be very hard for me to be back in Russia after this live stream, but no matter what, I'm gonna continue doing this. Okay, so more this. Oh yes, and this is the Russian stock market decline. As you can see, this is the biggest decline in the history of the Russian stock market. So the biggest one before this was 1997, when it went down by almost 21%, which is nothing in comparison to almost 46, almost 50% decline, which happened because of the invasion. Okay, so again, the plane, same plane. Okay, so Poland, artillery strikes, military intervention, McDonald's stopped operations across entire Europe, across entire Ukraine, I mean, excuse me. Okay, so Lugansk is under control of the local forces, whatever it's saying, what is saying right here. So around 8-9 a.m. Eastern Time, Lugansk, which is one of these questionable territories in the border of Russia and Ukraine, was and has been under control of local forces. People saying that, how are you doing? And the guy says, perfect, we're gonna take it back. We're gonna take back what belongs to us. Typical brainwashed person. Okay, so yeah, these are the, I have no idea how it's called, howitzer, I think. It's like this massive, that they shoot explosives in the very long, very big range. Howitzers, I guess is the name of this. Entering Ukraine next to Sumy, one of the Ukrainian cities, towns, villages. The guy says, these howitzers, they do not stop. It's entering you. There is no end of them. Going towards the direction of Kiev. And it's like the never-ending stream of these howitzers. Okay, this is Kiev. Next to Kiev. Around 9 a.m. this day. Many helicopters bombing, going towards the direction of Kiev, Ukraine. Okay, Skep Abba says that you are the enemy. I'm not the enemy, I'm just a Russian person living in Canada who happened to be unfortunate to be associated with the Russian government. So I would say that saying that every single Russian person is the enemy is as same as bad as saying that, I don't know, like every German is a Nazi. So I know what you're saying, I know you're frustrated the same as me, but please make difference between Russian government and Russian people. Okay. Sending Travis, oh, what's up Travis? Thanks so much for joining, bro. I miss you playing WoW together. Sending love to all Eastern Euros today. Sending love for sure, bro. Okay. Macron quotes, some railroads. Pakistan and Russia. Oh, Pakistan and Russia representatives are meeting together. And this is already 7:30 a.m. So yeah, not yet 9 a.m. Italy is asking for the military forces of Russia to leave Ukraine as soon as possible. Okay, air corridor is closed on top of Ukraine, obviously above Ukraine. Russia does not need approval of China to act, let's say so. Some more military action, some people. Too broad of a statement, Scap. Me too, fam. Me too, fam. Okay, wow, you really enlightened me. I'm so sorry for having such bigoted thoughts. I was just too rash. I'm very worried. Thank you. Don't worry. Like, I know it's frustrating. I know it's easy to judge, but it's always like this. It's in the human nature. Don't worry. I apologize if I also offended you by saying something inappropriate, but I am frustrated. I am not supporting even close to the decision that government of Russia has made earlier today. I have relatives in Ukraine. I have friends in Ukraine. I have relatives right now. My uncle's family is very close to the place where there are artillery strikes happening at this very moment. At this very moment, my blood relatives are in dangerously close area range of the airstrikes that are happening at this very moment. So I'm here sitting in Canada in peace. There is silence outside. There is nothing you can hear outside except maybe some people working, some wind or anything like this. But my relatives who I've seen in person, who was with me since the childhood, right now they're sitting in their whole houses 11 p.m., 10 p.m. and they hear gunshots outside. And they cannot leave. Okay, Travis says it's so easy to channel the anger towards the wrong people. I know, that's the thing. And James says it's so hard to believe something like this is happening. Exactly, it's although until the end we were like, it's not gonna happen. It's like the same as Crimea, it's the same as Donetsk, Lugansk, 2014, nothing is gonna happen. No one expected this. Not a single person expected this. And when you least expect it, this is when it feels the worst. Okay, so Ukrainian government forces, border forces, are retreating to the defense. Retreating a little bit, let's say so. So making it safe, playing it safe. Okay, so France is attempting to save its citizens in Ukraine. Okay, so von der Leyen from the European Union saying that stability in Europe is on stake right now, is at stake. Okay. Russia did not receive any news about the cancellation of diplomatic relations from Kiev yet, according to 8 a.m. report. Okay, so again, some sanctions. Russian Federation received... Russia got declined by the USA about speaking about the Ukraine situation before it all happened, whatever it means. Like, so broken English, broken translation, but you get the idea, just translating what I'm seeing on my screen right now. Okay, so, Melitopol, it's the explosions in the airfield in the airport in Melitopol. Bombing of the airport. Poland has enough oil resources. Saying, okay, so Zelensky speaking with the Chancellor of Austria, saying that he does not know how long Ukraine will last. As of 8 a.m. Okay, so Russia will actively do the diplomatic relations with Donetsk and Lugansk. Once again, some Russian propaganda, as always. Okay, same news, briefing. Okay, same news. Okay, this parliament, Ukrainian parliament, is evacuating at 8 a.m. Okay, so this is the fight in the air by Ukrainian and Russian jets. Imagine seeing this on top of your head. Imagine seeing this on top of your head. The jet that carries weapons, rockets, missiles flying on top of your head, 100 meters on top of your head, just like this. Okay, Japan. What Japan thinks about this? Russian ambassador in Japan saying that Japanese sanctions will have negative impact on Russian-Japanese relations and will not be unanswered and will not be left unanswered. So Russia is getting sanctions, doing sanctions in return. Typical politics. Okay, so Ministry of International Affairs representative of Ukraine asking countries to also cancel all the diplomatic relations with Russia. Again, Belarus, Czech Republic closes two Russian consulates in Czech Republic, obviously. Okay, so airport next to Kiev. Once again, the military intervention, military action is happening next to Kiev, next to capital of Kiev. Okay, so this is city of Uzhgorod in the west of Ukraine, and these are just regular people trying to evacuate, trying to escape to Slovakia. It's just regular people trying to escape to Slovakia, just trying to cross the border. It's west of Ukraine. At this very moment, majority of military actions are happening in east of Ukraine and central Ukraine. So west, it's still basically, it is happening right there as well, but not as bad in east and middle Europe, Ukraine. Okay, do you think that sanctions against Russia are worse than expected, and do you have an opinion if its economy can handle them? So good question. Since long time ago, Russia, since sanctions 10 years ago when the sanctions started, what was happening basically that Russia was trying to get rid of import from another countries. Russia was trying to substitute everything that was brought from the outside with Russian products. Let's say so cheese. We were prohibiting bringing cheese from, I don't know, France, let's say so. And they were saying, okay, Russian farmers focus on making more cheese. So 10 years ago, kinda, let's say so, the government of Russia already started trying to become independent from outside world. So I think, personally, just thinking from economist, just thinking from financial standpoint, from financial perspective, not taking any side, just saying it from economic perspective. Russia will be able to handle sanctions because right now we are producing so many things on their own. So we will be able to, Russia, will be able to withstand all the future potential events. But obviously this will have significant impact on the future of Russia, on the future relations of Russia with the outside world, with basically almost every single country. So this will not be unattended, this will not be just like, it's like never happened. This will always be remembered as this black day in the history of Russia. So this will have both mental, economic, physical impacts on the future of Russia. So yeah, internally, we'll handle it, but our reputation will be damaged for a very, very long time. Okay, some Moderna. Okay, so this is the town of Shirachanka in Yeysk district of Krasnodar. So this is the impact of the artillery strike showing here. It's the creator of Russian Facebook was naked. Czech Republic stopped giving out visas to every single Russian citizen. Okay, Chinese about crypto as always. Okay, Ministry of Agriculture of USA. Okay, so Moscow police. So these are the news from 8:20 AM already. So we're getting close to the current events. Moscow police saying that it is unacceptable to do any kind of riots in Moscow right now, which once again, people still go out on the street, but this is the police, they need to say this. They are afraid, regular police people, they're afraid of their commanders, they're afraid of their generals, but generals are at the same time afraid of Putin. So there's no way that they will be able to to go against them. It's like if you're in police, unfortunately you have to follow the order, or you just need to leave the police, which I'm not sure if you can do it, because I think personally, I've never been in the police, but I think if you don't follow the orders from your generals, if you just put down the weapons, if you go home, you can be prosecuted, you can have jail time. So for the police in Russia, it's extremely hard right now. It's either you silence the population of Russia, it's either you restrict protests, you prohibit protesting, or you go to jail. So extremely hard decision for the police of Russia at this very moment. Okay, and this is Kiev, Ukraine, the sirens. Okay, Krachaboros JB, they have 630 billion buffer, so for a while they don't give a fuck about sanctions. Basically, yes, for now, it is what it is. Ministry of Defense of Russia, lies, not gonna read them. Ministry of Defense of Taiwan. Okay, so now we are seeing that Taiwan border is being breached by Chinese. So, you know, China and Russia, they've always been friends for the last years. And now, while Russia is invading Ukraine, China was like, okay, so let's invade Taiwan, looks like. Which, if this happens, it's gonna be, I don't know what's going on with the world. It's like the politicians, the government of countries, have they not heard the stories of their grandparents, of their parents from the Second World War? Like, any person that has common sense right now would do anything to prevent World War from happening. Why would you kill people? Why would you go and die? Why would you be in concentration camp? Why would you be starved, poisoned, exploded to pieces? Like I have no idea. I'm speechless. Like, why wouldn't you go to diplomatic resolution of the conflict? Okay, Pete Griswold, thank you so much for joining. These are stressful times. Stay safe, brother. Thank you so much, Pete. I'm in Canada right now. So physically I'm safe, mentally I'm with Ukrainians, with Russians. There are no bad people, only bad governments, I would say. But yes. Okay. Czech Republic closing consulates once again, same news. So this is the embassy of Russia in Ireland, in Dublin, Ireland. So Irish people put red paint in the Russian embassy in Russia. So I can understand them. Okay, so 4 ballistic rockets were sent from the territory of Belarus in the direction of southwest, so basically in direction of Ukraine. So Belarus is sending military missiles already. Okay, and Jamie, China could definitely choose to start something. I know, right? Hopefully it won't, but well, we did not expect Russia-Ukrainian thing to happen, and it did. So we'll see how it goes with China. Hopefully it's not going to be the same. I really hope so. Okay, so President of Ukraine Zelensky is expecting why the allies will start doing targeted sanctions against Russia and will do actual help. So like, you know, like all this US, European Union, right now they're just talking, not doing anything, which at the same time it's a good thing, because imagine if USA, Europe actually starts participating in military action. That's it, that's the Third World War, simple as that. So it's also a very hard decision for the governments of other countries. It's either you support Ukraine, and that's it, your country is engaged in the war. Or if you don't support Ukraine, you are seen like a coward or anything like this, like the one who only can speak and do nothing. Okay, so, oh, well, it's a Canadian still, let's stay safe from our own dictator. Let's stay safe. In my opinion, China is just waiting for Russia will be so freaked up, so China can take part of Siberia without resistance. Well, there's not much things to do in Siberia. I don't think China needs this region, but we'll see. It's far for them, like there's not much you can do in Siberia anyway, so I don't think China wants to take part of Russia, but we'll see. Anything can happen. Okay, China is asking for Russia for the solution that will make sense, let's say so. For speaking, not acting. Okay, so these are almost 9 a.m. news. We're getting closer to current events. Again, once again, Belarus will be engaged if necessary. Ministry of Defense. So this is the airport that we saw already in Melitopol is under attack, under bombing. The airport. Okay. So German football soccer club. So this Gazprom, this is the biggest oil and gas company in Russia. So lots of teams, they use this as their main sponsor, and immediately they declined the sponsorship with Gazprom, obviously. So Ministry of International Affairs of Russia. Also, okay, so this is the helicopter shooting this missile protective systems. It's not missiles, it's not artillery. It's like, you know, when you're in the air, when you're in the plane or a helicopter, and when you already have missile rocket following you, like the ones which are heat-seeking missiles. So heat-seeking rockets. And when you shoot these traps, I guess they're called, so this can confuse the heat-seeking traps, and so you will not be hit, basically. Okay, so I heard Trudeau had the China army practice in North Canada. Well, I haven't heard about this, so maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Okay, so next one is the Rocket Lab. Once again, Ministry of Economics. Ministry of Economics once again. JP Morgan. Some advertisements. Sberbank, the biggest bank in Russia, went up by 60%. Okay, Kiev. Kiev is doing this air sirens and asking people to get their shelter as soon as possible for obvious reasons. Ministry of Energy in Ukraine declaring that there was an explosion in Tripol Electrostation, whatever you want to call it in English. Electrostation doesn't make sense, but you get the idea. But it still keeps working. It still can work. Ministry of International Affairs of Ukraine. Putin is doing the worst things from 1939, putting back Europe in the Dark Ages. We need to fight Russia with hard sanctions and give the support to Ukraine, both financial and military support to Ukraine. Biden, again Russian propaganda. Barcelona Football Club saying that they will not go to St. Petersburg to play in EuroLeague against Zenit because of Ukraine, obvious reasons. Nikola report, fraudulent company, which with the revenue of $0, incredible. Okay, Mayor of Kiev. This is the heavyweight champion of the boxing, Klitschko, saying that at 4 stations, subway stations, there are no trains. That's why you can use it as a bomb shelter. And this is what I was telling like 20-30 minutes ago. It is Soviet practice to build subway stations to serve 2 purposes. The first purpose is to be actual subway station, and the second purpose is to use it as a bomb shelter, because they're underground and they're reinforced. Okay, some statistics, biopharmaceuticals. Okay, Latvia prohibits any Russian TV channels, saying that this is propaganda basically, and there is a danger of national security. So Latvia prohibits all the Russian TV channels. Okay, so once again, Kiev. These are, if you can hear, these are the alarm. Yes, the metro, exactly. You know, Travis. Okay, so Kiev, Russia, COVID, Johnson. Okay, same news for now, same news for now, same news for now. And by the way, Travis, if you're still here, so this is what I'm using to get all my news for our Instagram Investors Club, whatever you want to call it. So that's where I just read everything and just copy paste them to update you all. Okay, the more you know. Okay, so Turkish carrier, whatever they call, Turkish ship, Turkish, whatever they call, like this ship, how they call it in English, I have no idea, ship. So that was departing from Odessa. Looks like it was exploded. It was bombed. It was there was a airstrike in Black Sea, basically. So looks like also they're saying that at this very moment ship is not that much damaged and there is no casualties, which is good. Okay, Russian forces attacking the hospital in Donetsk. 4 people dead. Latvia asking its consul to to escape Russia for consultation and to stop giving visas to Russians. So Latvia joins Czech Republic in prohibiting visas. So Biden administration once again. So yeah, Russian military entered Chernobyl from Belarus, and once again, at this very moment, I think it is safe to make any crazy predictions about what's going to happen in the future and why they did it. Like, why would Russians capture Chernobyl? You know what happened to Chernobyl, obviously. Why would they need this region? It's like radioactive region, which is under sarcophagus, and there's nothing there. There's no people there. There is no strategical place for this. Maybe I just don't know something. So my crazy prediction is that imagine how crazy it would be if Russians will be threatening if Ukraine doesn't give up the weapons. If the Ukraine doesn't give up, they will explode the nuclear reactor, Chernobyl nuclear reactor, releasing the radiation once again. But no, come on, this is way too crazy to think about this. Okay, Latvia stopped doing visas to Russians, asking the consulate to go back. Lufthansa cancelling all the air flights to Ukraine, obviously. 90% risk of default for Ukrainian bonds, government bonds, treasuries. Some information about investing, personal finance. Okay, so this is the opening stock market in USA when it just opened. Let's check the situation with the insider trading about Tesla once again, by the way. So, okay, so doesn't make sense. I have no idea what's going on with Tesla. Tesla was accused of insider trading. The stock went up by 5%. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so Canada evacuated its consulates in Ukraine to Poland, basically. London. So this is London. So this is our protests that are happening in London right now. Protests for the support of Ukraine. You don't see any single protest that's supporting Russia, because even in Russia people are supporting Ukraine. Once again, Russian people are not the same as Russian government. And this is what it is. This is just as simple as that. Okay. Parts of southern Ukraine are not under the control of Ukraine anymore. By whoever they declared this message. Okay, so Russian military forces occupied airport Antonov, which is 15 miles away from Kiev, as of 10 a.m. this morning. Okay, CNN saying that European Union countries are discussing the possibility to remove Russia from SWIFT, which basically means all these huge bank transactions will not be possible anymore. Biden, G1, G7, consulate. Okay, so this is once again Kharkov metro subway station. Kharkov, another city in Ukraine, people just using this as a bomb shelter, which once again Soviet practice. Like every kid in Soviet countries, post-Soviet countries, is taught that in case there's an artillery strike, go down to the subway station. So it's working. Okay, so yeah, Ukrainian President Zelensky saying that Russian military forces trying to get a hold of Chernobyl power plant for whatever reason. Biden, once again. European Union. Lugansk. Okay, so this is what they're saying, that this is the Ukrainian soldier, this guy, which is injured. And the ones which are helping him, these are the Lugansk police of Lugansk. And they're saying that we're helping this Ukrainian guy, he's injured, we're helping him. Once again, propaganda to show that Russians are actually good guys, which I don't think it's true. It's far from being true. Okay, so how do you call, like, Travis, if you're still here? It's the first time, it's not the first time I'm hearing about that. There's like, how is this called in English when you cannot go outside after certain hour? Like, like, I forgot what's the name of this, like, but it was very heavily used when the virus pandemic started, so people were prohibited from going outside, let's say, after 10 p.m. So because it is happening in Kiev right now, you cannot go outside after a certain hour. But what's the name of this? I just keep forgetting about this. Okay, so some economics. Patriarch Kirill is asking for the prayers for both sides, Russia and Ukraine. Okay, and these are Russian helicopters 15 miles away from Kiev. Russian helicopters 15 miles from Kiev. Again, sending these heat-seeking traps to protect themselves. Curfew, yes, thank you, Mr. Raya, is curfew. So there is a curfew right now at this very moment in Kiev. Okay, yes, there's a curfew from 10 p.m. all the way until 7 a.m. Basically means you cannot go outside between these times. Okay, so American jets F-35 are getting ready to take some action, let's say, so in Estonia and Lithuania are getting ready, basically. The Bank of Russia, Moscow Stock Exchange, new visa restrictions for Russian population, for regular Russian people, just the worst thing you can do. Okay, Swiss, there is a sanctions again, 3 government banks in Russia, same stuff, same news once again. Okay, so Ministry of Defense in USA is saying that Ukraine is doing good job at protecting themselves. Okay, President of Ukraine Zelensky, the enemy is moving inside Chernigovskaya Oblast, Chernigov district. So Ukraine is already suffering deaths. There'll be so many planes and armored vehicles destroyed. But Russian planes and military equipment was destroyed as well. So they're they're protecting themselves, basically. Okay. Zelensky once again, if you, European leaders, do not help Ukraine today, tomorrow there'll be war at your doorstep. Russian military are attacking from Crimea, which is the south of Ukraine, basically. Okay, Prime Minister of UK, Johnson, asking for the Russia to be cancelled, to be removed from SWIFT system. Okay, so now we're almost at 11 a.m., so we're getting closer and closer to current events. Okay, Moscow is doing advancement from Belarus all the way to northwest of Kiev. Okay, so this is thermal electric station being attacked. Just the power plant, basically, which is not that much a military object anymore, but still being under attack. Okay, Richard Branson saying things about Ukraine too much to translate. Okay, so Russia, once again, the US defense representative saying that Russia is planning to behead the government of Ukraine, and behead obviously isn't like this parenthesis. So not obviously, not literally beheading, just basically to replace the regime, replace the current political party, to replace current government. So Russian stock market went down once again by 33.28%. That's one of the indices. Okay. German against Russian this. Okay, bloody. G7 countries. Websites. Zelensky, president of Ukraine. Okay, Zelensky is asking to put no-flight zone on top of Ukraine, above Ukraine. Inflation, some personal finance, stock market investing. Okay, once again, Kharkov subway station being used as the bomb shelter. Okay, so more than 30. So you remember I told you that 4 subway stations were used as the bomb shelter? Now it's more than 30. Basically, more and more subway stations are used, so trains are being stopped. As you can see, trains are not going anywhere, so that just people can seek shelter against the artillery strikes and against bombing. Thank you all so much for joining, by the way. I appreciate this. Russian people stand with Ukraine. G7 leaders. Okay, so government, oil, inflation, not relevant at this live stream. Okay, this and that. Helicopters. Okay, so airborne descent people. Same news. Red Cross, same news for now. Cryptocurrencies, irrelevant at this point. Okay, Putin, lies, not gonna read. Bostik, Federal Reserve System, Russian business. Okay. Russian business. Ukraine embassy in USA. Kiev, so this is the quote from them. Kiev have everything under control. Kiev has everything under control. Russian helicopters were destroyed not far from Kiev, and asking once again to exclude Russia from SWIFT system. Okay, I don't know, just so you want to see how ridiculous some of these lies are, I will translate once and once only whatever Putin is saying. So Putin, we had to do this. All the previous attempts to de-escalate situation in Ukraine were unsuccessful. We did not have any other choice. Russia will still remain a part of the world economy and does not attempt to destroy it. And West declined diplomatic relations. West declined all the things that Russia was asking for. Bad translation, but you get the idea. Okay, so Nestle is closing its warehouses, factories in Ukraine, obviously. Gas, oil, relevant, not that much relevant, I mean. Russian forces captured Kakhovskaya electric power plant, and trying to capture Ukrainian military base 15 miles from Kiev. Okay, Putin, more of Putin. Sberbank, biggest Russian bank. Bostik. Not too many photos and videos I can share with you right now, so apologizing for once again making it a little bit boring, but I'm just going through the news just with you. For the first time I'm seeing all this right now. Okay, so this is once again one of the biggest banks in Russia, VTB, if I'm not mistaken, second biggest bank in Russia, went down by like what, 41% in one single day, 42% in one single day. So we are already at 12 p.m. right now, 12:30 p.m, getting very close to current events. More sanctions, Ukraine, India. Okay, so India also asking Putin to stop, to cease and desist. So basically India is siding with Ukraine as well, obviously. Okay, so next on Biden, aircraft carriers, Johnson. Okay, well, sanctions again, Moderna, sanctions. Mariupol, which is the seaport, sea city in Ukraine, is under attack. Chinese consulate in Ukraine is evacuating its citizens, basically. Pakistan and Russia meeting. Biden, UK. Okay, Biden was offered to do cyber attacks against Russia. Okay, so some economic events, some memes, not funny memes. Okay, Chernobyl once again. So too many repetitive news. We'll keep going, it's not that much left. So we'll just keep going, and this once again Chernobyl, military equipment, military tanks. They are occupying Chernobyl for whatever reason. Okay, so this is how the stock market was reacting for the invasion. So long story short, the stock market was going down significantly when the invasion was announced, but then it was still recovering. So this is 3 hours after the stock market opening, but now it's already closed. So obviously the things changed significantly. So President of Ukraine Zelensky. Okay, not that many new news. Everything is more or less the same for now. Lucid is doing online shops. Okay, not bad. Okay, Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Boy. Canada will cancel, will restrict, will cancel, will remove, will prohibit all the export in Russia, and will cancel whatever is already happening. Basically, all the new sanctions from Canada against Russia will be mainly targeted against Russian banks. Aeroflot, the biggest airline in Russia, will not be permitted to operate flights to the United Kingdom, basically. Simple as that. Okay, Putin now speaking with the president of Iran. Trudeau, sanctions of Canada will be against 58 people, basically against 58 people and businesses. So not sanctions against the whole country as a whole. So Poland is saying that its border with Ukraine is open and will remain open. Visa requirements for the Ukrainian citizens will be cancelled. So basically what it means that Ukrainian citizens will be able to escape to Poland and they don't need visas for this. Good job. Okay, so Nasdaq pre-market decline. Okay, so Jamie Walker, somehow FANG stocks ended in the green. I know, right? It's insane about Tesla. It's like I still cannot believe Tesla is accused of insider trading. Stock goes up by 5%. Okay, whatever. So on Biden against Russian military bombing hospitals. Okay, so again, press secretary. This guy, once again, one of the biggest liars, he is saying that he is ready to discuss he is ready to discuss with Kiev the way Ukraine is gonna surrender, basically. In return, Ukraine will be promised that there will be no further invasion, let's say so, and there will be no weapons on territory of Ukraine. All lies, obviously. Okay, so this Tesla once again. Okay, so this once again the protests in Moscow, in the capital of Russia. Protests, more than 600 people were how it's called, like taken to custody, whatever it's called, I don't know. So more than 600 protesters were captured today in Moscow. Obviously they're protesting against the war. What else would they protest? Okay, so Starlink, the SpaceX Starlink is available in Bulgaria. Okay. Biden, sanctions against banks, cannot use any foreign currency. We will block 5 biggest Russian banks. So this is what his press release, his response with the press at 1:30 p.m. today, 3 hours ago already. Air France reducing flights between Paris and Moscow for 7 per week, basically one every day. Okay, Biden is not planning to have any negotiations with Putin at this point anymore. Okay, Ministry of International Affairs of Canada will be more sanctions against Russia. So Biden against SWIFT system, all same news for now. I wanted to share with you all the pictures and videos, but unfortunately I only have the sanctions, SWIFT system, and all these kind of things. Okay. Russian ruble currency going down significantly, the most volatile currency in the world recently. Okay, so Pentagon nuclear actions. Okay, so airport. So it looks like military forces of Ukraine declaring that they were able to recapture the airport Gostomel next to Kiev and airport Antonov next to Kiev. Okay, sanctions against Sberbank, VTB, Gazprombank, Открытие, Sovcombank, Novikombank. These are like biggest banks in Russia, one of the biggest ones. Okay, so sanctions against 80, mostly yes, most US sanctions will be mostly against banks and bank assets. So basically it's going to be economic war between Russia and USA. Okay, and yes, this is what I was saying. So at 2:23 p.m. today, Elon and Kimball Musk, they're in the middle of insider trading investigation by the SEC. This was mainly about Kimball Musk, the brother of Musk, obviously, selling shares of Apple and shares of Tesla in November 2021, literally days before Elon said his poll in Twitter, should I sell Tesla stock, basically. And so stock went up as a result. I don't know why. The Ministry of Finance. Okay, so this is some okay, so this injured Russian soldiers being delivered to the hospital in Belgrade. Okay, so Kiev, because of the curfew, once again from 10 p.m. all the way until 7 a.m., it will be closed to enter Kiev, but you can leave Kiev if you want, obviously. Okay, and the S&P 500 went up, same as Nasdaq. Okay, Occidental Petroleum, some individual stocks performance, Turkey. Okay, Turkey enhances the defense, so Turkey makes it to be more protected. Russian consulates in the territory of Turkey, but nothing's gonna. Most discussed stocks by Wall Street bets. Tesla is in the first one with mostly negative sentiment. Okay, just a little bit more, 40 news from this one, and then a little bit 10 each here, but there'll be more pictures and videos soon, so don't worry. Okay, Aeroflot cancelled tomorrow's flight Moscow-London. Nasdaq is going up. Okay, Ministry of International Affairs of Ukraine saying that Kremlin, basically Russian government, is planning new round of attack soon, which will include airstrikes. So this island was captured by Russian military. Okay, so this airport, Hostomel, was also retaken by the Ukrainian forces. Some suggestions where to invest, not probably. Okay, so Ukrainian military. The strategy of Russia is clear. The main purpose is to block Kiev and allow this corridor all the way from Russia all the way until Crimea and create a republic, separatistic republic in Moldova. Russia is still continuing to put forces in the Ukraine, obviously. Okay, so Russia and France presidents were speaking. Russian president was justifying his actions, basically, obviously. So Ministry of Defense of the USA representative saying that approximately 160 rockets, missiles were sent in Ukraine by Russians. ARK ETF went up by 8% somehow. Okay. Okay, almost there. Ireland. Okay, so Ireland will also remove all the visa requirements for Ukrainian people. So you can, if you're Ukrainian, you can go to Ireland with no visa. Okay. Director. Privian, whatever. Okay. Plane of a Russian oligarch. Okay. Air Canada restricts flights above Ukraine, above Moscow and Minsk. So basically you cannot go there by plane, obviously. Okay, so here is people, men in the age of 18 to 60 are not allowed to leave Ukraine. So you are stuck in Ukraine if you're in Ukraine right now at this very moment. Some earnings reports. So Coinbase, let's see. Coinbase, earnings per share up, revenues up. Let's see how it affected the stock price. Okay. Stock. Coinbase in aftermarket is negative 3%. Accent, Autodesk, Etsy also beating in earnings per share, beats in revenue. So let's see Etsy really quick. How is it? In after hours, Etsy is up 17%, not bad. Beyond Meat, way worse earnings per share, way worse revenues. So Beyond Meat must be down after hours. So yeah, Beyond Meat is down 10% after hours. Square, Block, more or less meeting the expectations, so it's going to be down most likely. Okay, so military Ministry of Defense, I don't know, just basic translation, in Ukraine saying that two-thirds of available Russian forces are already in the Ukraine, basically. Okay, so Putin, this is the France Minister of International Affairs of France, Jean-Yves Le Drian, saying that Putin must understand that not just Russia has nuclear weapon, France also has nuclear weapon. Okay, Ministry of International Affairs of Ukraine saying that 10,000 guns, rifles, were given to citizens of Kiev, to residents of Kiev, so that they can defend themselves, basically. And yes, earlier tonight, Zelensky, president of Ukraine, declared that everyone needs to basically go to the army, let's say so. Okay, so Johnson, same earnings report, sanctions. Okay, almost done with this one. Okay, now let's see some pictures and videos that are available right now. Okay, this, not this one. Okay, Zelensky asking leaders of European Union to support Ukraine, basically. Sanctions against Sberbank, the biggest. Okay, Kharkov. This we've seen already. Some earnings report. Tesla is being investigated, insider trading. Okay, so these are Russian soldiers helping Ukrainian soldiers who are injured once again. Propaganda, no propaganda, but at least they're helping. Okay. So the guy previously was saying that his main purpose was to just stay alive and protect his loved ones. And by the way, yeah, can you hear it? Let me know. I will start the video once again, so let me know if you can hear it. Okay, so let me see really quick.
Боевых действиях. И как только на фронте здоровье смогут, едете домой. До этого вам будет оказана необходимая медицинская помощь, ну и всякое прочее. Накормят, искупают, все будет хорошо. Для вас, мужики, война закончилась. Вы остались живы, и слава Богу. Вернетесь.
So this is basically the one he's standing as the Russian military guy, the ones who are sitting Ukrainians, and the saying that they're captured. Okay, so I think my camera is low. Let me try to use my webcam at this point, I guess, if I can connect it. That's it. My camera is almost no charge anymore. I don't have externals, so just give me a second. I'll connect webcam. Integrated webcam. Okay. Okay, something like this. Not gonna go too much into details. Okay. Okay, so long story short. Okay, so you can see me if you want to see me. Okay, so the long story short, guy is saying that, okay, guys, you're alive, that's the main point. From now on, the war is over for you. Just relax, you'll be fed, you'll be cleaned, you'll be sent back home. Don't resist. That's it, the war is over for you.
Здесь вас не заставляют предавать родину, но у нас его тоже не будет. Если бы не вот устная позиция, то все возвращение, вы никого не предаете.
So basically, yes. Okay. Okay, so Summa, explosions, military action.
مشات الكنيسة مسكينة مشات. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. تفرقوا شي جاج.
You can definitely hear the military action going on. Gunshots, explosions, ballistic missiles, flying rockets. Okay, so almost there, guys. Almost there. It's been almost 2 hours already. It's already been 2 hours, so just couple more news, couple more videos, photos. Okay. USA is sending away the consul from Russia. Okay, Kiev has lost the connection with Ukrainian border patrol close to Odessa. Okay. Okay, so USA completely cancels all the diplomatic relations with Russia. Okay, so Ukrainian forces destroyed the bridge, looks like. And there was like the guy driving right there. There is no audio for this one, so don't worry, there is no audio. Okay, the guy is alive at least now. He's making a U-turn and coming back. Thankfully. The bridges were exploded. Okay, so this island, Ukraine confirmed that this island where you see right now red dot was occupied by Russia as well. This is Odessa right here. This is one in the middle, it's Odessa, so strategically, potentially it's the place for putting some missiles or whatever. Mayor, okay, so... Okay, once again, subway. Subway in Kharkov, once again, people using this as a bomb shelter. Okay, once again, that Ukrainians between the age of 18 and 60 will not be allowed to leave Ukraine. Okay, so we've seen this one already. Cryptocurrencies. Okay. Fire in the marketplace next to Kherson. After being obviously bombed. These are potentially military, Russian military entering Ukraine. Potentially.
Идут военные, да? Катя, вспышка. Катя.
Что идут военные. Инна, вот в открытое окно.
А ну давай, смотри. Ебать, блядь. Слушай, ужас. Ребята! Я не пойму, это какие войска?
Сейчас посмотрим. Похоже на наши. Нет, Зет, все,
сука,
пизда.
Сука, россияне! Тихо, блядь, не ори!
Инна, тихо. Зет, вон, блядь, написано, видишь? Зет, все, сука, волчковый знак.
Сука, это с Одессы, сука, пришли, или что?
Ну, наверное, пришли с Одессы.
So people saying in the background that these are mostly coming from Odessa. Russian military equipment, tanks, armored vehicles. Oh, okay. So now China. So fighter jets of China entered Taiwan, and ships also entered the waters of Taiwan. So now looks like China is entering Taiwan. Okay, we've seen this one already. Okay. City of Suma is on fire. Okay, so protests. Okay, so now people in Russia, and especially in Moscow, they are protesting against the war. As for now, 1,705 people are already been detained. So this is the police in Moscow detaining protests of regular people who are against the war. So these are regular Russians who are against the war. Police detaining them in Moscow right now. And people are screaming "Позор," which basically means shame. Police detaining Russian Moscow people protesting against the war once again. So yes, Russian people are with Ukraine, Russian people are protesting the war, but the government is not the same as Russian people. Grozny not Grozny, house called Georgia, the one which is Georgian Caucasus, Gruzia, they're also basically protesting there for Ukraine. So every single post-Soviet republic, post-Soviet country is protesting against the war, every single one of them, except the government of Russia. Okay, so now, and this is the military events that are happening right now in the territory of Ukraine. So the ones which are red circles, this means that this is where there was artillery strikes. This is where bombings happened. This is where there was no direct engagement between actual soldiers. So these are red circles. The ones which are red squares, this means that there were actual military fight, like actual soldiers shooting each other basically. And the ones which are black circles, this is showing that Ukraine acknowledges that they lost control over this territory. So obviously, once again, most of the action is happening right now in the east of Ukraine. Couple of them are lost. Lots of action is happening in the south of Ukraine. Also, lots of territories are lost from the control. But this one is the scariest one. This is Kiev. Basically, this is Kiev right here. On top of Kiev, Ukraine acknowledges that they lost control on top of Kiev, capital of Ukraine. Okay. Okay, now let's request to join another channel and see if they have anything. Okay, sanctions again, sanctions. Stock market crash, Russian one. Okay. Okay, let's see if there's anything else, but I request to join something. I don't think they'll allow me to enter immediately, but we'll see. Okay, so let's just reopen it one last time. I don't see any new. So I guess basically that's it. So long story short, Russian people stand with Ukrainian people. Russian people, regular people, do not support this. As a Russian, we apologize. I personally apologize for everything that's going on. We are against, I guess, let me put myself on the screen. Okay, so we do not support, Russian people do not support Russian government in this decision. This is insane, this is ridiculous, no one expected this. We feel bad, we feel ashamed. This is black date in the history of Russia, modern Russia, I would say, definitely. So for this reason, I really hope that this whole thing will just be over as soon as possible. There is not going to be escalation. Azul says, I don't understand why people listen to Putin and go to war. Not people, these are military mainly. There is a huge propaganda in Russia. Like, you watch TV, so I have a first-hand experience. So long story short, propaganda started in Russia, like heavy propaganda started like 10 years ago. Like before 2010, I would say Russia, Ukraine, they were relatively decent. Maybe we're not the best friends, but Russia was decent in relations, in international relations with the rest of the world. We're not like the favorite guys, maybe, but there was no like such open confrontation with Russia against the rest of the world. So since Crimea, since 2014, Donetsk, Lugansk, all this started to escalate. The situation got worse every single time. There was so worse events that was supposed to be even getting worse and worse and worse every single day. No one believed that they will be as bad as they are right now. And once again, they did happen, which is once again, it's ridiculous. Like no one expected this to actually happen. And the reason, it's propaganda. So in 2010, when propaganda just started, everyone was like, come on, this is ridiculous. But sooner or later, more and more people started to believe it. because, you know, when you have propaganda 24/7 for 10 plus years, it's getting harder and harder to resist whatever you're being told from the TV screens. So at first, those people who are like kinda supporting Russia no matter what against Europe, USA, they're the first ones to fall to this propaganda. Then more and more people started to fall to propaganda, started to believe it, started to being Russian supporters. I even had friends who were like such open opposition for Putin. They were even going to this protest and riots against Putin. And now the same very people, they are supporting people. I don't know right now, because last time I spoke with them was a couple of years ago. But long story short, they were like, okay, so Putin, yes, there is no better thing for Russia. There is no better replacement for Russia except Putin. So propaganda, first of all, it's propaganda. It's huge propaganda, 24/7, not just in the news, but in the TV shows, in the movies, in the music, in everything that's happening around you, in the memes, in the social media. There's always small, short propaganda that's at first is insignificant, but whenever you're exposed to this 24/7, it gets worse and worse and worse every single day, obviously. So more and more people started falling to this trap, falling to this, okay, so maybe there is something about Putin, maybe he is right, and more people started thinking like this. Eventually, this is what made so many people to be maybe not Putin supporters, but maybe they're like at least not as negative as they used to be before. And the second thing is the military. You cannot disobey the order. If you're in the military, which is mandatory in Russia, by the way, you cannot not go to military. Like if you are 18 years old, you need to go to the military unless you have medical condition, or if you are having the university which has military courses. So because of this, it is mandatory to go to military. And whenever you're in the military, if you do not follow the order, obviously it's very bad. It's how it's called. It's outlawed, whatever it's called. I just don't know how to speak English anymore. Unfortunately, sorry about this. So long story short, if you disobey orders, military orders from your generals, from your officers, you can go to jail. Literally, you could go to jail. Same for the police, same for the military, army, whatever. For this reason, these people, police, army, whenever they are facing with the situation, they are either stopping the protests or they will go to the jail. So it is very hard decision for the police, for the military to do anything else than just obey the order. Some people, they might just, yes, like, okay, I'm not part of the police anymore, I'm quitting. But once again, this is, most cases, this is the jail time. So you cannot not listen to the officers. You need to follow the orders. For this reason, they have to go to the war. I'm sure a very large portion of the police and military that is happening right now in the Russia, very big part of this, they are against all that's happening right now. It is just that they cannot do anything about it. For them, it's either they obey, they go to war, they stop the protests, or they will be sent to jail. For this reason, there is nothing else to do about this. They have to do what they're told to do. And because of this, it's what's happening. I'm speechless. I don't support this at all. It is very extremely bad what's happening. I hope it gets resolved as soon as possible. Hopefully it ends with the huge sanctions against Russia. Anything is better in comparison to the actual military intervention into escalation. Everything is better than this. So hopefully it goes this way. Hopefully it's not going to be worse than it is right now. I guess 2.5 hours to 20 minutes was more than enough. Thanks so much for joining. I apologize if it was not interesting, if it was very boring. It was just prompt live stream. I was not obviously planning to do it, so it is what it is. I just wanted to show you the side of Russia, what regular Russian people think about everything that's happening right now. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for your questions. Thanks so much for your comments. I'll see you once again on Monday, I guess, because I will be uploading videos every Friday and Monday, and we'll see you then. And as for now, pray for Ukrainians, pray for Russians, for the Russian people, and let's hope that it will get resolved, that there will be not too many casualties, because war is bad.